Like, hey, Scoob, did you hear Nikki Blake is hosting a Scooby-Doo panel? No. Yeah. Like on today's Scooby-Doo episode, Scooby-Doo and Shaggy meet Nikki Blake. Yeah, and a Scooby Panel. Like, we need to get this puppy started. Okay, Nikki Blake, take it away, Scooby-Doo.
Welcome to the Scooby Panel. I'm your host, Nikki Blake from ScoobyAddicts.com, and today we're going to be talking about the Thanksgiving stuff in Scooby-Doo, or lack thereof. Before we begin, I'll have everybody introduce themselves, and Al, we'll start with you.
Hi guys, I'm Al Jason, and I am a Scooby-Doo collector, as you can probably see from some of this stuff here. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook under my name.
Wendy?
Hey everybody, I'm Wendy BRYDGE. I've been collecting Scooby-Doo all of my life, and this Thanksgiving, I'm thankful for Scooby and Scrappy. And
Yeah.
Scrappy, we have to mention Scrappy.
Joel?
Hey there, I am Joel from the YouTube channel Planet Scooby.
Excellent. So we're going to talk about the Thanksgiving things in Scooby-Doo that we've found that could potentially be Thanksgiving-y, but are they really? We're not sure. Maybe we are sure. I don't know. We'll find out. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the possible Thanksgiving episodes. There's a Demon Shark in the Foggy Dark was the 12th episode of the Scooby-Doo Dynamite Hour and was first broadcast on November 25th, 1976, which was Thanksgiving Day, during ABC's Thanksgiving Funshine Festival. The episode has nothing to do with Thanksgiving. It just aired on Thanksgiving Day, so it gets a mention in this episode. And then all the other episodes were originally broadcast on Saturday mornings. So this was the only episode that was broadcast on a Thursday. Wedding Bell Booze 1 and 2. It originally aired December 10th, 1983. It was the 13th and final episode of the new Scooby and Scrappy-Doo show. The episode focused on McBaggy Rogers, who was a pilgrim who came to Plymouth, Massachusetts aboard the Mayflower in 1620. And in the episode, the gang dress up like pilgrims and Indians, and they look for the pilgrim's treasure. So I felt that it was Thanksgiving-y enough to mention. And the final episode was Grim Judgment, which aired August 9th, 2012. It was the 9th episode of the second season of Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. And it's not really an episode about Thanksgiving, but the villain is a ghostly Puritan judge named Hebediah Grimm. And in the episode, they call him several names, like the Thanksgiving guy, Giant Thanksgiving Dude, and a Turkey Day loser. So, what are your thoughts on these episodes and saying that they're Thanksgiving episodes? Joel?
Well, like you mentioned, Demon Shark episode, nothing to do with Thanksgiving, but it'd be so cool being a kid just waking up on a Thursday. If you're in America, Canada, we had to go to school, but getting that awesome double blast of Scooby-Doo, you get that, and 2 days later you get another episode. I'd be losing my mind if that happened to me. With that series too, that was such an awesome series. And then Wedding Bell Booze 1 and 2, I could see it is how it is Thanksgiving-y. Like a lot of people have weddings around Thanksgiving. So it could have been, there's logic there. It definitely took place in autumn. You had the Native American connection with the treasure spoilers being corn. And yeah, it was a fun episode. I watched it today. I was getting Thanksgiving vibes for sure. And then Mr. Ink, it's a bit of a stretch for Thanksgiving for me. It's definitely has those vibes, but just with the villain, but otherwise it didn't really, it seemed like an autumn episode, I guess. But if that is your Thanksgiving go-to episode, more power to you. I think that's great. I have two more that I might consider Thanksgiving-y. They're a stretch, but I'll come back to that later after hearing everyone else's thoughts.
Wendy, what are your thoughts on these episodes being Thanksgiving-y?
Yeah, that's really interesting. I think Joel might have used the right word here. They're kind of more autumny than necessarily Thanksgiving. I don't have a problem though if somebody wanted to classify them as like Thanksgiving episodes. It's kind of, I don't know, that Mystery Incorporated one. It was just so random. I watched it the other day and I was like, it's just such a random kind of a ghost. Like the character does, I mean, immediately bring up like a Thanksgiving kind of, I feel like that's something that we make that relationship between like a Puritan style, just like even the visual of that and Thanksgiving. It was just so random. It was, I don't know, it was weird. I mean, I'm not a big fan of that series anyway, but it was a little bit laughable, but still enjoyable though. It was fun. Especially the way that he kept telling Velma that, well, we're going after everybody, but you're okay. You're okay. Your clothing, you're covered up. You're decent. I thought that was pretty funny. I think it's really cool that they did air a Scooby episode on a holiday. Just, I mean, that's again, it's kind of a random thing given that it kind of didn't happen all the time. And for an episode that really had nothing to do with the holiday. But I mean, like Joel said, if you were a kid, like who cares? Who cares why they're doing it? You would just be excited to have it. And that is a pretty good episode. I feel like it's one that doesn't get a lot of, at least where I was, it didn't get a lot of like replay time in reruns. I've probably only seen that episode like a handful of times in my whole life. But yeah, it would have been fun for a Thanksgiving morning. And Wedding Bell Booze, definitely, I think out of everything, I would have the easiest time giving it like a Thanksgiving label. And it's just a lot of fun. I mean, McBaggy Rogers, like props to whoever named him. That is just like one of my favorite names in all of Scooby-Doo because it's so ridiculous. And there's that snapshot of him with like the little Puritan Scooby. And he's so cute. I don't know. Puritan Scooby action figure is all I'm saying. I feel like we could definitely, if we're gonna have Thanksgiving merch, I think we need McBaggy Rogers and the little Puritan Scooby. And I could go along with that. I think that would be great.
Al, what are your thoughts on these episodes being Thanksgiving?
I agree with what's been said already. The first one, I agree. Like it's definitely not Thanksgiving. I think I wonder if the network just said we're going to put in any old episode here on a Thanksgiving day and maybe never gave the creators of Scooby a chance to do a special episode. I mean, who knows? But again, I mean, like Joel said, it's like a Scooby episode is a Scooby episode. I don't care what it's about. And I think a lot of kids watching aren't going to say, well, wait a minute, today's Thanksgiving, but that's not about Thanksgiving. They don't care. They're just going to watch it anyway and enjoy it. The Mystery Inc. one, I agree. I mean, it's kind of far-fetched, but it's enjoyable. Of course, I actually do love that series. So anything they did was great. But as far as Thanksgiving, again, I don't think they ever really purposely went out and tried to do a quote unquote Thanksgiving episode. And then for the last one, the wedding one, same thing. It's much more geared towards Thanksgiving, but I just don't know if they wanted to get that much into the holiday as much as just another Scooby mystery. But they're all fun in their own way. But it's hard to label them as specifically Thanksgiving episodes.
I am kind of surprised that they have never made an actual Thanksgiving episode. I mean, in 53 years, we've covered a lot, but not that.
And also, I think Thanksgiving is very much an important holiday in the States, more so than in Canada, I think. So I'm surprised they haven't really tackled that subject.
And it
specific.
is geared around food.
Yeah, that
So,
too.
Good
Yeah,
point.
I mean,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
alone,
yeah.
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 Joel, what are
But-
the other episodes that you think may be Thanksgiving like?
Again, I'll say these are big stretches. So one that someone brought up to my attention would be because football is like a big deal, American Thanksgiving. So Ghost That Sacked the Quarterback. A lot of people I know that are Scooby fans that live in America love watching that episode during Thanksgiving season. And then if I had to pick an episode that I'd want to watch on Thanksgiving, it'd probably be Watch It, the Wilwa, just with
Oh,
the
yeah.
native connection.
Right.
Yeah.
I was taught, I don't know if it's true, but I was taught Thanksgiving originated when the Pilgrims sat down with the natives to celebrate the natives helping them out to make it through the winter by teaching them how to grow food and whatnot. And it's also about the gang going to meet Uncle, I think it's Uncle Dave, Velma's Uncle Dave. So family, like when I think of Thanksgiving, I think of family, going to see family. One of the most famous movies about Thanksgiving could be Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which is about traveling. So the gang are traveling, you know, they're in a different part of the world than they're used to. So that would probably be my go-to Thanksgiving episode if I had to pick one, but it's not really a Thanksgiving episode.
Right.
Oh, you were going to say something?
I was just going to say the one thing I did like about the Mystery Inc. episode is what you were saying about them having these little nicknames that they create all the time. You know, the big turkey guy or the whatever it was that they used. But that part I love. I like how they try and incorporate what's going on into describing the creature or the villain.
Yeah, that was probably the most fun part of that episode for me.
Yeah.
I don't know why, I just, between that and like Wendy said when he kept saying like, you're fine, Velma, I'll let you go, but everyone else, like, you will be judged. So what are your thoughts on Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost? So to me, I kind of get like a Thanksgiving vibe from that movie, even though it's not really a Thanksgiving movie. But they celebrated the Autumn Fest in Oak Haven. They reenacted what life was like in the 60s, and it included people dressing up like pilgrims. Shaggy found the old belt buckle and then put it on his shoe. And the giant turkey. I mean, you can't forget the giant turkey who was rocking out to the Hex Girls at the end, which was just great. So I kind of got Thanksgiving vibes from that movie. Wendy, what did you think about Witch's Ghost?
Yeah, I definitely am surprised that they didn't just full on call it Thanksgiving in the actual film, and they made it more of like a general autumn type thing. I definitely think like there's a lot of food eating in that movie, which again totally goes along with it. But the giant turkey, I mean, what else are we going to associate with Thanksgiving other than a great big turkey? So I definitely think that if there's anything in Scooby that could be called Thanksgiving related, it would be Witch's Ghost for sure, for sure. There's too many things that lend themselves towards like that Thanksgiving aesthetic. But yeah, I feel like they could have gone a little further with it and actually had it be like a Thanksgiving celebration and like just embraced it completely. I think it would have added to the movie, because like you say, there really isn't like a set, here's a Thanksgiving episode or a Thanksgiving movie. And while I feel like it's true, they didn't do a ton of holiday stuff for Scooby. There's not like tons and tons of Christmas episodes or Halloween episodes. You would think at some point there would be a Thanksgiving one, but I think Witch's Ghost is about as close as they were going to get to that. Maybe in the future they'll do something, but I would definitely watch Witch's Ghost as a Thanksgiving movie on Thanksgiving. I think that would be like perfect. All that food, the turkey. I mean, it's Thanksgiving. It just is.
What are your thoughts on Witch's Ghost being a Thanksgiving movie?
It's definitely has the vibe, like you said. But I rewatched it yesterday just to refresh my memory. And not once throughout the entire movie do they ever use the word Thanksgiving. But it definitely has that vibe. I mean, it's in the autumn. It has the sort of pilgrimage type of reenactments. It's got, like you said, the belt buckle and pumpkins and the food and the food and the food. And then of course the giant turkey, which is, to me, was pretty silly, but it fit right in. I thought it could also be thought of as a Halloween movie, because you've got the witch, you've got the pumpkins that come to life, you've got also the autumn again, then you have the hex girls with the vampire teeth and stuff. So I thought it can work both ways. But then US Thanksgiving is very close. Well, it's about a month away from Halloween, but it would still work either way, I think. I mean, it's a good movie. It's one of the better ones, I thought. The one thing I did find is I thought they were trying to do too much in the movie, because you had the witch, you had the hex girls, you had Ravencroft, you had the book, and then you have this giant turkey. And I mean, it was good, but there was a lot they were doing at the same time. But it would work as a Thanksgiving movie for sure. It definitely, I mean, even without hearing the word Thanksgiving, you definitely get that feeling. The one thing the one line I loved, I think it was Velma who said to the turkey, something about "get out of the way, you future feather duster." So I love that line.
They do sometimes have these great lines, and
Yeah.
yeah. Joel, what are your thoughts on Witch's Ghost being a Thanksgiving movie?
Yeah, I agree with what everyone's saying. It's especially what Al brought up. Like, it is kind of Halloweenish. It is kind of Thanksgiving-ish. It's a nice, with that month in between, it's a perfect movie to watch to fill that gap till we get to Christmas. What stops it from being like pure Thanksgiving for me would be there's like no Thanksgiving type message to it. I don't know what that message would be. I guess being thankful, but there's probably another deeper message that I'm not cluing into. But yeah, it's I think I might start watching it every Thanksgiving just because you brought it up. I never thought of it before, but I think I might make that my tradition. Be perfect for kids too, because it's 90 minutes long, and while you're busy in the kitchen cooking, the kids are occupied.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that Scooby and Shaggy never mentioned wanting to eat the giant turkey at the end.
Yeah, it's true.
Say something like, "Why can't we just put it on the barbecue?"
So let's talk about the Thanksgiving merchandise that has been put out. So there's one comic book, the DC Scooby-Doo number 114, that has a turkey in it. There's two books, Scooby-Doo and the Thanksgiving Terror and the Thanksgiving Mystery. And then there's the Scooby-Doo Scarecrow Airballoon by Jemmy, which I'm counting as Thanksgiving because it's a scarecrow. There's the Warner Brothers store turkey plush and the Warner Brothers store pilgrim plush. There's the Jemmy singing scarecrow, and then the Jemmy scarecrow greeter. That's pretty much all the Thanksgiving stuff that I found. Al, do you know of anything else that's Thanksgiving, or do you have any thoughts on the Thanksgiving stuff?
I was thinking about that when I was like kind of looking through my stuff. It's like, I don't think of anything else. I just like, again, I wonder if they really weren't focusing on the holidays, because besides Christmas stuff, you don't see a lot of Scooby stuff for Thanksgiving or Valentine's Day or St. Patrick's Day, whatever. You don't see too much of that stuff at all. I mean, there's maybe one or two things out, but I think all of those worked as Thanksgiving items for sure. I read through the books and the comics, and I was looking at those plush dolls. One of them to me was kind of like ugly, but I mean, they're all very much Thanksgiving-ish, and I just wonder how much maybe the people that make these things don't make a lot of money on the holiday stuff. I don't know. I'm not sure why there's not a lot more, but they're definitely cute. I wish there was some non-plush stuff, because I don't really collect the dolls, just because I don't have the space for it. But if there was some little figurine of any of the characters, that I would probably pick up.
Right. Oh, my shirt is kind of Thanksgiving-y. It's from a corn maze. So it's got like the mystery machine and corn.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
So it's not like official Scooby merchandise, but
Yeah,
it's good enough.
yeah, I don't care. Official or not, if it's got Scooby, I'll
Yeah.
pick it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Joel, what are your thoughts on the Thanksgiving merchandise?
Yeah, I looked at most of it, well, all of it actually, and I liked most of it. I'm not going to pick on anything, but what I did love was I like that blow up of the Scooby, that air blown, like he's a scarecrow. I thought that was really cool. I like most of the plushes. The books were cool. My favorite would probably be the pie eating contest one, where they saw the jack-o'-lantern thingies. And then I liked the comic book one because they were visiting Daphne's uncle and aunt, and I like that. It really tied in with Thanksgiving. And then the other one was a take on the Macy's parade, because they're some sort of event like that. And yeah, Thanksgiving is like one of those weird holidays, because it's about food, but it recently just seems to be about consumerism with Black Friday. And you think they'd want the merchandise on the shelves, but I don't know if people are buying Thanksgiving merchandise. I think they're buying more gifts for Christmas. And a lot of people, they don't seem to like decorate, at least around my parts, they don't seem to decorate like Thanksgiving like they used to. Yeah. So maybe that's why we don't see as much merchandise as we used to. Just, I don't know. It might be different where everyone else lives, but Thanksgiving.
I agree with you on that part. I don't see much around here either.
Yeah.
But it would be cool to have more Scooby merch based on holidays like Thanksgiving, for sure. I'd love to put that up in my house. That's all I gotta say.
Wendy, what are your thoughts on the Scooby merchandise for Thanksgiving?
Okay, so the turkey beanie is one of my favorite Scooby beanies, like out of all of them. He is just, I mean, he's so cute. Like, look at, he's like full on. He is full on turkey Scooby. I mean, like they went all out on him. You know what I mean? Like, he's just adorable. I love him. He's even got like his tag has pumpkins and, you know, fall stuff, Thanksgiving stuff. And again, like, I mean, I eat turkey on Christmas, but when I think turkey, I think Thanksgiving, like no matter what. So I love him. Will admit, given that they were making amazing ones like this, the Pilgrim Scooby is like boring AF. I'm sorry. Like, he is cute. I do love his little pilgrim hat. And I appreciate, like, especially being Canadian, like he's got maple leaves. So yay, Canada, you know, but like, why does he not have a little Puritan jacket? Mm-hmm. Like, why? Okay, now I'm going to have to leave him out because I'm going to make him one and like make him a better plush, you know, but like, it's cool. Like, I love that we've got like something, you know what I mean? I was looking in my Warner Brothers Studio Store catalogs, which I have one for fall, I think either 97 or 98, and it has this one listed, and there's also, I think there's a Tweety that has like a little Puritan hat as well. It was the only Thanksgiving item in the whole catalog. There really, like, there wasn't anything else. Now, that's not to say that the store didn't have other things. Obviously, the catalog is not like an exhaustive list of everything they have available. But these were the only, like, I don't know of anything other than what we've talked about. The books in the comic they were pretty good. They were, I don't know, I guess it's just the nature of like, they're children's books. So you can't expect like a huge, like, it's not like a blockbuster movie, you know what I mean? Like they're short and everything. I did like that given that there were 3 different ones, the story was completely different. At least they weren't just regurgitating a very traditional Thanksgiving story and they just did it a couple of times with minor changes. Like they're completely different. I really love the scrawny looking Shaggy in his turkey suit at the end of the comic
Yeah.
book story, because he is the most pitiful turkey that no one would want to eat because he's so skinny. Like he's the worst looking turkey ever. But it just makes it so much fun. And it's Shaggy, so it makes total sense that he'd be like a beanpole turkey. He's one of those utility turkeys that is missing a wing, you know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
it's missing a couple of parts, but
In the
yeah, like
discount section of the
exactly,
of the
exactly.
store.
Yeah. It's like the last day of the sale and there's one turkey left, but nobody
Yeah.
still wants it. Like it's that small and bad that's really pitiful.
They take a look at that and say, "Oh, I think I'll buy a ham instead."
Exactly. Yeah, ham this year. But yeah, I'm kind of thinking now that we're talking about it that maybe Thanksgiving is just the unfortunate casualty of the time of year that it is. And strangely enough, I kind of
Could be.
feel that about both the Canadian and the American, even though they're so far apart. You know, in Canada, it's what is it, the second Monday of October is
Right.
usually when we have Thanksgiving, and then it's the end of November in the States. All of it obviously due like harvest time, whenever your harvest time is. Like oftentimes we're buried under snow at the end of November, so we're not harvesting anything. But I'm kind of feeling like fall as like something you decorate for is very broad. You have leaves, you have food, you know, corn, those cornucopia things with like all the stuff coming out of them. And it kind of fits though for both Thanksgiving and Halloween and autumn. So I'm kind of thinking that unfortunately Thanksgiving is just maybe getting lost in this giant umbrella of fall, where Halloween is kind of like the big player
True.
and Thanksgiving's just it's just kind of lost in there. It's not specific enough, and unfortunately, especially now, there is a lot of negativity directed towards it, which I really don't think that we should perpetuate that. I understand like where people are coming from, but sometimes it's okay to be like, okay, this is how something started and this was the spirit intended. Things subsequently happen, yes, but we don't have to make it all about that. It's like Christmas and consumerism. Well, it didn't start out that way, and you don't have to celebrate it that way. So I would rather see people putting their time and effort into making Thanksgiving the holiday that it should be. That we should be talking about being thankful and grateful, and it doesn't mean that we forget all of history or anything like that, but we shouldn't just be cherry picking the bad history either. And I feel like that's kind of the spirit that a lot of people have today, is they want to like just focus on all of the bad and they forget the good.
Right.
And it's another reason I would love to see like a straight up Thanksgiving Scooby, because I feel like Scooby is like the prime cartoon to be able to put forth a fun mystery, but an organic feeling message of being thankful, being grateful, loving your friends and your family, you know, doing things for other people, getting together and celebrating each other. I feel like that would really go good with the Scooby gang, and that it wouldn't feel preachy or put on, you know. I feel like that would be something that they could really do and that it would be enjoyable. But yeah, I mean, always would love to see more merch, would love to see more books. The aesthetic for fall, Thanksgiving, Halloween is so wonderful with like the colors and stuff and all of the pumpkins and everything. And given that it can cover like 2 different holidays and an entire season of the year, I feel like it's time that we could be seeing more of that, especially in book form. I feel like book form is just a great place to have some really fun pictures and visuals, get in all of that stuff, and you're not breaking the bank though, having to make like a cartoon, you know, like a full episode or a full movie or something, or even the merch. I mean, I would love more merch, but again, like you are a little bit limited with Thanksgiving. Like what would we do other than like the Puritan Scooby and Shaggy, which a lot of people would frown on? You know, we've got the turkey. There's not a lot that I feel like they could continue on with that. But I mean, hey, Warner Brothers, you should be up to the challenge. Like, you
Yeah.
know that we'll buy pretty much anything that you slap Scooby on. So let's have more turkey Scoobies, and maybe like a little toy turkey to go with our Scooby toys. Like that would be fun too. I feel like accessory packs for our Scoobies that are themed like that, a whole
Yeah.
bunch of food, like a bunch of food to go with our Scooby snacks, you know, the Scooby snacks. I don't know where that came from. It's getting late,
Turkey-
guys. It's
Turkey
dark
flavored
outside.
Scooby snack.
It's dark outside. That's my brain's signal that it's time for bed. No, but yeah, like he's the best.
He
He's
is cute.
adorable.
Yeah.
Like we just need to celebrate him. And if he's all that we ever really, really get, I mean, they knocked him out of the park, so I won't be too angry about it.
When you were mentioning books, I would love to see more adult or at least young adult type books with the Scooby Gang. That would be amazing. Instead of the ones that we have that are all made for children under the age of 5 or whatever, you know. I mean, the ones like you said, I'm glad they were different, but you know, I can't relate to something like that. It's like, okay, I read it once and I'm never going to look at something like that again.
Right.
Yeah. Al, you were holding a toy or something?
Yeah, well, it's not Thanksgiving-ish, but it's my favorite, one of my favorites. It's more Halloween. And I think I've showed you guys this
Oh
before,
yeah. He's
but it's the
awesome.
skeleton Shaggy. And I have him out now for this time of year, so it's kind of perfect.
He's really cool. So we are going to talk about the Macy's Scooby-Doo balloon. And I have a page and a half of information to read about it.
Go for it.
So we're going to start with the floats that were in the parade. And Hanna-Barbera was first represented in the parade in 1978 with a walk-around version of some of its most famous characters like Fred Flintstone, Barney Rubble, and Yogi Bear. In 1982, a float called Heidi's Song debuted to promote the animated movie release around that time. And then in 1983, a new float known as a Hanna-Barbera Christmas debuted with Yogi Bear as their special guest, including Scooby-Doo. And that was retired that year. In 1984, another new float debuted, which was named Scooby-Doo's Birthday. The float was decorated especially for Scooby's 15th anniversary, carrying an oversized birthday cake at the front. After this appearance, the float and the Scooby-Doo costume were retired. I just wanted to say thank you to Bradford Smith because he shared the videos with us. So if it wasn't for him, we would not have seen the videos. Thank you, Bradford. Warner Brothers Consumer Products sponsored a giant helium balloon of Scooby-Doo, which debuted in the 2005 parade on November 24th, 2005, to promote the direct-to-video film, Where's My Mummy? The Scooby-Doo balloon was featured on the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade poster in 2005 as well, along with a bunch of other balloons from that year. They did a test flight of the balloon at Balloon Fest in 2005. The balloon was active in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade from 2005 to 2007. It was designed by Jennifer Palmer and sponsored by Warner Brothers Consumer Products. The balloon was 47 feet tall, 60 feet long, and 29 feet wide. It held 13,200 cubic feet of helium and had 80 handlers. I want to know where the balloon is and how can I get it and put it in my yard, because that would be awesome. That would be
Got to
awesome.
add it to the museum.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
The same year of the balloon debut, Scooby was also named Macy's Holiday Ambassador and was chosen to lead the parade. In honor of this, a cold air inflatable was perched upon a 34th Street marquee with a special plush of Scooby being sold at Macy's stores for a limited time. He is so cute.
Yeah.
That is cute.
He would later make 2 more consecutive appearances in 2006 and 2007, promoting the television series Shaggy and Scooby-Doo Get a Clue. The balloon was retired after his 2007 appearance and has not been seen since. In 2007, part of his muzzle became partially deflated by the time the balloon reached Times Square. They say it's for unknown reasons. So, I mean, the balloons always run into tree branches and other stuff, but I'm wondering if that's why they retired him. Maybe he just wasn't fixable.
Could be.
And I mean, I would assume that a balloon for the parade would cost a lot of money, but I don't know. The balloon would later be represented in 2011 by a walk-around Scooby-Doo costume riding aboard the Hats Off to Our Heritage float. It was also noted somewhere that the Scooby franchise was represented in Macy's Holiday Parade with Shaggy and Scooby riding in the Mystery Machine from the early 2000s until the rebranding of the parade in 2016. I have never seen any video or pictures or anything of Scooby and Shaggy in the Mystery Machine from the Macy's parades. So I can't confirm that that's true, but somebody had mentioned that somewhere. I want to know why we never got any type of toy that looked like the Macy's balloon.
Yeah.
Because that, I mean, they did the inflatable Scooby that he's kind of weird looking. He just kind of stands, and I think he has like a one of those squeaker things in him. But yeah, why not ever of the balloon? I mean, the balloon was a big deal.
Yeah.
And I think the balloon is beautiful.
Yeah.
I love the design on it. Yeah, it was really well done.
Yeah.
But yeah, miniature version, that would be amazing.
They did.
Yeah,
I think I sent you guys the pictures of the clay models of the balloons.
Right,
It was
yeah.
the Macy's balloon and the balloon for the Holiday Ambassador. If they would have made statues of those, that would have been awesome.
For sure.
Yeah, really cool.
So Joel, what are your thoughts on the Macy's balloon?
And my first thought is like, why did it take 12, 13 years for them to even come up with the balloon? It just took forever. That was my first thought. Like, Scooby was still in his prime then, but he's quite famous for those 12 years up and coming up to that. And like, I'd never watched the Macy's parade. I knew of it as a kid, but I never got a chance to watch it until YouTube came around, because again, I'd be in school when that aired. But I was more familiar with it from like Spider-Man comics. And then there's that balloon episode, the Batman Scooby new movies where they have like Yogi Bear and Batman and Fred Flintstone, and I assume they were all in the Macy's parade. That was
Why was there no balloon of Scooby?
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. And that would have been what, 76? So we didn't get Scooby until 83, I think. You said 82 with Heidi's, is that
83 was the walk around costume.
Oh, okay.
And then 2005 was the balloon itself.
Oh, so we didn't get a balloon until 2005?
Mhm.
I thought they would have had one in the 80s. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I'm so surprised about that.
Yeah. Macy's parade, they're just not hip. But the balloon, like Al said, that balloon is beautiful. They did a great job with it. So I guess it was worth the wait if we got something that cool. I don't know what the past balloons look like, if they're that awesome looking or they're a bit janky, but that Scooby was spot on. So I was happy about that. That's my thoughts on the Macy's parade.
I thought it was interesting the inflation instructions,
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
how they had to inflate certain parts of it.
First.
And yeah, it was just like this whole diagram of how they needed to do it. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Did you say 80 people to hold it down?
80 people, yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
You don't think it's going to be that difficult, but obviously with that much helium in it, then it would just float away.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
probably have to account for the winds.
True.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
one year, I think it was 2006 or 7, it was raining during the parade.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so that they probably have to account for all of that. And I would assume they have more handlers than what they would actually need, just in case it is
Right.
windy. Then they're not scrambling to get people.
And they're probably not going down a straight street the entire time. There might have to be
Mhm.
curves and turns, and so that
And
would be hard
it's
too.
like 2.5 miles
Okay,
for the parade from start
Wow.
to finish. So
right. But I agree. I just don't understand how come there's never been one before. Like if they had Flintstone and Yogi at the time, I mean, I assume Scooby was a big deal back then for them.
Yeah.
I mean, Hanna-Barbera, those three characters, I think, are what made that company. So I mean, I don't know why they waited that long. Very, very odd to me. But I mean, I'm glad they finally did. But
Mhm.
and just the fact that they only had Hanna-Barbera essentially for 3 years as floats.
Right. Yeah.
that's true. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, Hanna-Barbera was huge. Why would they not have had them in the parade more?
Mhm.
Very
Or even
weird.
if they would have, I mean, it didn't have to be Scooby. I mean, even if they would have had the Mystery Machine, let's say, it would have been a little bit easier probably to build, just a square box in a way. I don't know. It seems like a lost opportunity, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wendy, what are your thoughts on the Macy's balloon?
Yeah. The balloon was really cool. I am also surprised that it took so long to have a balloon, and also that there wasn't just more Scooby and Hanna-Barbera representation all the way along. You figure the Munsters was only on for 2 seasons. It literally only made 2 seasons. And they used to dress up in their full makeup and be part of the parade for just a 2-season show, you know? So you would think that something like any of Hanna-Barbera's characters would definitely have warranted more of a presence just overall, whether it be a float or just people walking around in costume. But like, you would think that they would be more than just like 83 and 84 and then waiting and waiting. Like it is very odd that it's not, and even now that it's not more of a thing, because Scooby is quite, I mean, it feels like Scooby is very, very much mainstream right now. And I am surprised that they're not really embracing that either. Like a mystery machine with people dressed up in character seems like a no-brainer. Like you say, they said that they have done that before, but I've never seen evidence of it either. I mean, I'm not saying like I watch the parade all the time, but I feel like I've seen enough clips of it over the years and pictures and stuff. But yeah, I definitely think it was a missed opportunity that they even had like small scale of the balloon in order to make it, you know what I mean? Like that was such a wasted opportunity. But having said that, I love that holiday plush. I mean, obviously, my Mighty Star Scooby is my favorite, but in my opinion, that Macy's plush is the single cutest Scooby plush that I've ever seen in my life. He is just super duper soft. Those are cute too. Those are
Yeah.
really cute. But yeah, that Macy's one, they really did a good job with him, which I'm glad, because he was expensive. Because not only what, I can't think of what do you remember what the price of him was? But it was on, like, you had to make a purchase of a certain amount already. then the cost of him.
He was $16.95 plus a $35 Macy's purchase.
Yeah, like that's an expensive plush. I don't care how you look at it. That was expensive. I'm kind of surprised that they did it like that too. I would love to know how many they made and how many they sold. I'm happy to say that I got mine secondhand cheaper than it would have been if I'd have had to go in the store and get him. Like, that's a win for me, given that usually, you know, it's like $30 shipping and then however much you're willing to pay for the item. So I definitely lucked out on him. But yeah, I'm surprised that he's not a bigger deal in the Macy's parade. I did love those early Hanna-Barbera floats though, and especially the Scooby, the guy that was dressed as Scooby for their Happy Birthday Scooby number, because it had that look of the Mighty Star Scooby plushes. Like, the actual costume to me had that same style of face, and like, I want to know, where is that costume? It better not have gone in the garbage. Like, that is like one of my, like, it keeps me up at night sometimes, guys, I'm not gonna lie. And I think about these things and I'm like, where did this go? You know, did it go in the garbage somewhere? Is someone at least like enjoying it in their home, or is it in, you know, a garbage bag in the back of somebody's garage and they don't even care? Did it get burned? You know what I mean? Because I mean, like, honestly, which one of us? I know, maybe not Joel. I don't know. Joel is so secretive. So I'm not sure just how much of a merchandise guy Joel actually is deep down. And maybe Joel has like a secret room in his basement with like more Scooby stuff than we could imagine, which, if that's true, I need to see it. I'm just saying, like, it needs to happen. But come on, can you imagine having like a mannequin in your house with the Scooby costume on it? Like, would that not be like one of the ultimate like Scooby items to have? Like, that would be really, really cool.
Definitely.
So yeah, I would love to know whatever happened to that costume, because that is a nice Scooby costume. You look at some of the ones they make now and they're like, he's a pretty derpy looking Scooby, but that one, oh, he was great. And the musical number was great. And like, props to those people getting out in front of like thousands of people on the street, dancing their number flawlessly. Like, it was good. You know what I mean? Even if you're not into that sort of thing, like, they nailed it. They nailed it. And that stupid song is still playing in my head. It's going to be playing in my head at 4:00 in the morning when I wake up randomly for no reason other than it's playing in my head. But yeah, like, let's bring that back. I feel like we could use a parade float with people dancing and singing and like giving it their all. I mean, it's 2022. We've had a rough couple of years. Like, we need a singing Scooby. Just in a Macy's parade. It's what we need. We need it.
I agree. Al, do you have anything else that you want to add about the Macy's balloon?
Yeah, two things. First, Wendy, what you were just saying about, you know, who has the costume. You got to remember, and I think back in the 80s even, there weren't as many collectors out there as there are now. Right? That stuff wasn't thought of to be valuable. And a lot of times, a lot of that stuff and props from movies and TV shows and everything like that, that just went out the door.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they weren't even saving a lot of film. They weren't even saving back then. So unfortunately, I bet you a lot of it is gone forever. And sadly, you know, and I think that's why there's not a lot. It's very difficult to find the vintage Scooby items. You know, not that there was a lot made in the first place, but stuff that was made in the 70s and early 80s. Like, Wendy, you know about like Canada's Wonderland. You know, they used to have like Scooby was one of the mascots, and that stuff even is hard to find nowadays. As for the Macy's parade thing, yeah, I do find it so weird because, especially now, Scooby has been around now for 53 years. He's an icon not only to us, but to many generations now. So, and he's still relevant. It's not like a character that like Penelope Pitstop. Like nobody knows who the hell that is. But you know, everybody knows who Scooby is from age 3 to age 83. So you would think there would be a lot more representation.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I don't know, he's overlooked a lot of times.
Yeah. I did get to go to New York in 2005 to the Macy's store. I never went to the parade because I can't handle that many people. But I did go to the store, and it was really cool because the windows were all, they had Scooby window clings and you know, all kinds of different things for Scooby-Doo. I got to see the huge balloon that they put on top of the entrance, and
Oh, cool.
it was really cool. They also had a Ferris wheel in the Toys R Us in New York City in Times Square, and one of the cars was the Mystery Machine.
Oh, neat.
And I really want to know what happened to that car, because again, it's something else that I would love to have. I
Yeah.
would never go in it. My husband and my son went on it. I wouldn't do it because it was too tall for me. Like I just couldn't do it. But yeah, it was really cool. And I just want to know where it is.
Yeah. That sounds cool.
Does anybody have any final thoughts on anything regarding Scooby-Doo and Thanksgiving? Wendy?
Just that, like this year, I mean, we've already, 3 of us here have already celebrated our Thanksgiving, but like Christmas, Thanksgiving should be in your heart all year long. You should always be thankful and grateful for all of the good things that are in your life, even when there's bad stuff going on. But I think that we should all just collectively try to remember that Scooby is the embodiment of Thanksgiving, if you really think about it, because the gang are clearly thankful for each other. They look out for each other. They do stuff that, if you really think about it, it's pretty dangerous. You know, they get into some really tight spots sometimes, and yeah, it gets downplayed because it's a cartoon for kids, but as adults we can watch it and we can appreciate that, you know, it's a good thing that your friends were there to help you out of that jam, because you were screwed. You would have been screwed without your friends. And I just love that Scooby throughout the years has always kind of fostered that idea of gratefulness and thankfulness and friendship. You know, what is that? I feel like, let's just call it Thanksgiving, but there's like, you know, now Friendsgiving is like a thing that people like to do, where if you don't have a lot of family on Thanksgiving, then you be thankful for your friends and you guys get together and have, you know, a bunch of food and enjoy it and stuff like that. And I think that's fine. But Scooby should remind us that, you know, Thanksgiving at its core is a very, very good holiday to celebrate, and it is something that we could celebrate all the time. Be thankful for your friends, be grateful for what you have, and, you know, if there was ever a cartoon that could teach us that, I think it was Scooby-Doo. I think Scooby teaches that in everything that he does, and the gang and how they behave and stuff like that. So I'm thankful for Scooby this year, and hopefully everybody else is as well.
Al, do you have any final thoughts on Scooby-Doo and Thanksgiving?
I'm agreeing with what Wendy just said. When I think of Thanksgiving, I think of family. I'm thankful for the people around me, friends and family. And I consider Scooby and the gang to be a family. I mean, they've been with each other for so long now. They've learned the secret to aging, you know, or aging well. But yeah, and I think Scooby would be definitely the one person, like if they did do a specific Thanksgiving episode, it would become a family tradition. Because I know, like at Christmas, I always rewatch my favorite Christmas movies. At Halloween, I mean, on Monday night, I'm going to be watching my favorite scary movies. So why not get Scooby to teach the kids about Thanksgiving? And like Wendy said, I mean, him and the gang would be one of the perfect people to do it. And then as far as Scooby merchandise, we want more. I mean, we always want more, but yeah, I think there's only so many Velmas and Daphnes you can get. But if you got something that was specifically themed to holidays or to some sort of special event, that's when people are really going to try and get those items. They would definitely become like a collector's item. So bring them on.
Joel, do you have anything to add about Scooby-Doo and Thanksgiving?
Well, today I learned I need to keep an eye in the sky because one of us is probably going to be floating by on a Scooby balloon, like from up. Someone's house is going to be attached to it and it's just going to be floating by.
I wish.
I'm keeping an eye out for that. And then I'm going to keep an eye out for Ferris wheels. Scooby wheels. And then I think one more of us will acquire that costume somehow. And I think it's probably going to stink of sweat. Like, so imagine that person, they were pretty frantic in that costume. They probably puked in it a couple of times too. But it's going to stink, but it'll be worth it.
If it's going on a mannequin, it shouldn't matter too much. You can just spray it every once in a while with Lysol.
Freeze it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Lysol, yeah. You're going to say, Al?
Sorry, I think I know where there's a Ferris wheel with a mystery machine on it, but it's made for children.
Mm.
But then I won't be going there probably till next spring. So I'll keep my eye out on it. And if I do see it, I'll be taking pictures for you.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, so I definitely agree with all of you. We need to have some type of Scooby-Doo Thanksgiving special. I mean, Snoopy had a Thanksgiving special, and since my kids were little, every Thanksgiving Eve, we ate the foods that Snoopy ate.
Yeah.
It was disgusting. But it was something that we did with our kids. We watched the movie, we ate the foods, and it was great. It was something that we could do together. So if we have something Scooby that we can do together, even though they're older now and they don't want to do it, I'm going to make them do it.
Exactly.
And yeah, like I'm thankful for Scooby. Without Scooby, I'm not sure where I'd be. And I'm thankful for you guys for giving me all your time and doing the panels and talking about Scooby, because I don't know, like doing these panels and being able to talk about Scooby, it just makes me so happy. It just
because it's in here for all of us, and
right.
we know how much it means to us.
Yeah.
You talk about it to a stranger. Yeah.
You
Oh,
get the
okay,
eye
yeah,
rolls and the
exactly.
oh, okay, can I walk away now? Yeah. I get that with half of my family too.
Yeah. At your age, you still collect that stuff? It's like, yeah,
Right.
that's what I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wendy, at the beginning, you mentioned that you collect for over 20 years, you said?
Actually 30.
30, okay. I was just wondering, how
Yeah.
long has everybody else been collecting or into the Scoobyverse? Because I only started collecting since 2009. And I've amassed all this stuff since
Wow.
then. So. Yeah, it just
Yeah,
sort
I
of
would-
took over.
I would say for me, it's been over 30 years, but
Wow.
I've also had times where, when my kids were little or growing up, I mean, I couldn't spend money on Scooby stuff. So there
True,
were
right.
times in my life where I wasn't collecting anything,
Yeah.
but other than what I had already collected. But yeah. Joel, you do have some Scooby stuff, yeah?
Yeah, I started getting Scooby stuff probably in 1982 when Wonderland opened. And then when eBay started, a lot of stuff then. And then a Scooby website, and like creators would send me scripts and stuff. So I got some cool scripts, but
Oh, that's cool.
I'm not a fanatic because I know I just totally spend all my money.
Yeah.
But I got some, and people, no one ever rolled their eyes at me. They always give me Scooby stuff. They'd be like, oh, we never know what to get Joel, but if we give him something with Scooby on it, it's perfect. And yeah,
That's good.
yeah, probably. So I don't know. I can't do the math, but 82.
Wow.
The math is actually pretty easy, but
Cool.
All All right, so we're going to wrap things up. Before we do, if you can let everybody know where they can find you on social media, and Al, we'll start with you.
Facebook under Al CHIASSON and Instagram under Scrappy Al.
Wendy?
On Instagram, I'm at Wendy Bridge, and on Twitter, I'm Wendy Loves Jesus, and my blog is wendylovesjesus.wordpress.com.
Joel?
YouTube at Planet Scooby.
And you can find all my links on ScoobyAddicts.com. Thank you very much for joining us for another Scooby panel.
Thank
Happy
you.
Thanksgiving.
Yay.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in to another Scooby panel. I'm Nikki Blake from ScoobyAddicts.com. If you like these panels, please subscribe to my channel for more great discussions. A huge shout out to our patrons, Julie Rosen, Ross from ScoobyFan.net, Scooby-Doo of Roblox, and Ruth Elliott Hillsden. If you would like to support the Scooby panel, please go to patreon.com/ScoobyAddicts. A very special thank you to Joel from Planet Scooby, Scooby collector Al CHIASSON, and artist, blogger, and Scooby collector Wendy Bridge. Scooby Panel is available in podcast form on most podcast platforms, or as a web series on YouTube. Scooby and Shaggy were voiced by Scott Innes. Check out Scott's website, onescottshop.com. Scooby Addicts artwork by Will Davenport. Video editing by Nikki Blake. Music composed and performed by Bovine Nightmares. Please join us next time for another Scooby panel.